Hey everyone,
Hey,
welcome. We were just talking about whether our heads were cut off because if you didn't know, we record all of these podcast episodes also on YouTube. So you can head over to YouTube, find a wife like me, our channel, and subscribe and watch us there in action. You can see Kelly's amazing sweatshirt today. But welcome, friends. Thanks for tuning in and for listening. My name is Amanda Davison, and we are always this year, we're with Kelly Brinkman. Kelly, hello.
oh, hey, lady. So good to see you. I love that we're doing this on video and recording because we're meeting like all the learning styles. Those of you folding laundry, those of you sitting on your couch, bless. Okay. Those of you at gymnastics with your kids, we're here. All the things. Those of you who are scrolling and reading this blog post by Amy Seifert today, oh, what a treat. We're already looking forward to this one.
I know. So here's the thing, if no one has told you, beautiful lady, yet listening, happy Valentine's Day. It is Valentine's Day today. Okay? Happy Valentine's Day to you. To you. Um, we're talking about this blog post today because I have a lot of feelings about Valentine's Day. Maybe you do too. But I think the point is on Valentine's Day, we really want to dive into what Amy does talk about in this blog post because it's so good and we need it. Ah!
Yes.
So, yeah. So, the problem, let's talk about I don't know how you feel. Kelly and I have not talked about this yet, this topic, but I'll just share that I do not particularly love Valentine's Day. It's a tricky day because you have the world telling you, that you should get flowers and chocolate and be serenaded and which PS isn't this so weird because it's like just focused on us women. What about our like it's so weird if you really think about it. I don't really think that like from the world's perspective, where's the dude in Valentine's Day? He's just giving the woman things. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even, it's so weird to me. But
All the
I just,
expectations are on him, it seems like. Right.
yeah, for sure. Yes. And so that, whatever. The reason I don't like it is because I always swear I'm never going to buy into the hype, but my heart is there. My heart does want that. Even though I won't admit it, I want I don't want flowers. I don't even like chocolate. I mean, I'll eat it, but I don't really care for it. I don't want that. I just like have this unrealistic idea every year. And I swear I don't. Like I don't. I tell myself I don't. I tell my husband I don't want anything. I don't even whatever. But like I still do, if that makes sense. So that's why I don't like Valentine's Day.
Isn't that so complicated? Like gifts, even in relationships, where we will say sometimes, oh, I don't want a gift, but yet you do. So we've kind of come to the understanding. Mark and I have been married about 12 years. And I now tell him, like, I don't want something big. I would appreciate a card, whether that's handwritten or something that you buy. That's fine with me. And that's my only expectation. I mean, it took me several years to get there to be able to articulate that, but to really check in with my heart and say, really, what do I want? And kind of as the person that gets to orchestrate, well, a lot of the engagements that we have or commitments that we have socially. I got elected social chair early on in our marriage. I don't know if you did as well. So I can I
Wait a minute. I haven't
we had an election. I
like,
won
ooh,
and social chair. So I'm like, you know what? I would really just like a nice dinner at home. Like not the same tacos and pizza and but a nicer dinner at home. And so I set that up so that my expectations are more in line with like what's actually possible and what do I really want to savor at the end of the day.
yeah, I love that. And yes, it sounds like you've come a long way in your maturity, and I'm still working on that.
I have great counselors. No,
No,
great friends that help me walk through that too.
it is so funny though. Like, I've learned that again, I don't want a gift. When I say I don't want a gift to my husband, I mean that. I really don't. But there is, again, like in my heart is pulled toward the some level of like, I just want to, this is what I've learned is that it's not that I want what the world is telling me I should have from you, but I do want to connect with you in a meaningful way, like you and Mark. And for some reason the whole world is, and I want to too. Like I want to connect in some way. And so what I've slowly learned, kind of like you, is I just set up a date, or I set up a sitter to come, or I just make a meal for us after the kids go to bed or whatever, because I'm not going to, like you, expect him to do it for me. But like, I love that you just give him that straight up expectation. Like, hey, I would love a card. I love that. Yeah, that's great. Like, that's so mature of you. Like, hey, I do, even if you do want flowers, maybe you could get them yourself if you know your husband, there's no way he's going to get them or whatever. Like, you know what will make your heart feel loved for you that day. And what we're going to dive into Amy's post here in a second. But I just love that we can learn from each other and grow and, you know, do almost, or set ourselves up for success, not buying into the world. Yet actually, like, what I would love is this, because if we're going into Valentine's Day PS on empty, it's even more tricky. It's even more difficult. Like,
Right.
and more, there are more emotions involved. If we go into Valentine's Day, not good, and we're like, oh, well, okay. Like, it's just a disaster. Like, it can feel like, you know, you don't love me. I don't even know if you care about me. Like all the disastrous catastrophe thinking that we can go down, and not helpful. So think about that too. Like if it's Valentine's Day and when you're listening to this and you're already in like a rare place in your marriage, you know, have grace even for the day. Like this is a day. So anyway.
Right. So Amy says, one of her quotes that I'm going to try to put on my next mug, it's a little long, but I'm going to do it. It says, in Valentine's Day, we could be wrapped up in marriage bliss or wrapping up marriage blisters. Let's wrap our longings in love in 3 words that are true: chosen, delightful, and loved. I think how she starts the beginning of that yes, we could be wrapped up in, you know, kind of the newlywed phase, or a really great time, a really great season in our marriage, or we could be wrapping up marriage blisters. One of the things I try to do to take the pressure off of Valentine's Day is like celebrate beforehand, or not necessarily when the world says you celebrate this day, this time. So if I can like set something up for like Saturday morning, we have a date and we go biking or something, or just some time set aside for us, then I feel like, okay, pressure's off. I don't have to wait until every second of February 14th to connect. But if I've connected a little bit beforehand, then it like takes the pressure off of that day a bit. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I love that. I love that.
It's like the Thanksgiving before the Christmas. Enjoy the pie, all the things, none of the gifts. And then Christmas, you can sit back and relax because you've indulged in Thanksgiving.
And it reminds me of like, I mean, yeah, you're right. You're right. It's like, if you're going into a season or a day full and connected already, there's not this high pressure then, what could feel like, or what we could put on ourselves, allow the world to put on us of high pressure. And you're just like, oh, I just get to like enjoy it. We're already good. Like, you know, it feels different. It just does. It just does. And I want to remind you as well, maybe we could find this post. I know I wrote it years ago on what real love actually is, because what Amy talks about in her post, okay, is what real love is, wrapping ourselves up in these words that remind us of how loved we are, okay? And that's from the Father. So we're taking our focus off and our laser beam on like what our husband's going to do for us, or what he's going to show us or not show us, to like, oh, wait. Let's just time that out here, sister friend. And let's like look at Jesus and what he has done, and how much he loves you. So there's that aspect. Okay. The other aspect is we have to remember, and we'll get into Amy's again just a second, but we also have to remember, I want you to remember today, friend, that real love is not shown in one day. Real love is not shown on Valentine's Day. Real love is shown in the everyday, small, tiny choices. When he picks up your water glasses after you and puts them downstairs by the sink or puts them in the dishwasher. When he starts your car for you in the morning. When he just texts you to see how your day is going. When he rolls over in bed, puts his arm around you and tells you he loves you. Like, that's real love. Real love is not this hyped up Hallmark movie show that we often think it is or we can buy into. So I'm preaching to myself when I say this, like, no, real love is in these everyday choices. He's there, he's loving you and the kids or whatever. Like, that's real love. So also we have to remember that. And then I love Amy's words. So she dives in and she says, like, let's ground and root ourselves. Let's wrap ourselves in these words that are true of you. And what's the first, Kelly?
The first one, she said, is we are chosen. And next, that we are delightful because that's how the Lord has made us. And we are loved. And I think sometimes I've had Valentine's days where I feel empty or disconnected or like, what? And it really goes back to my own expectations, as we've talked about a bit. But then the second part is knowing that I'm already loved by the Lord. If I really sit in that and He is enough, because I understand that God made me, God made my spouse, and that He very intentionally knit us together, and He's continuing to knit us together every day. And if I sit in that and I'm satisfied in that, then I don't have to say, well, what about this and this and this? And fall back into expectations. If I can sit, I think of like, if I can sit on a comfy couch and be snuggled up and comfortable emotionally, knowing that I'm loved, then I'm not like fretting and running around the house and going, what about this? And we need to fix this. And there's a mess here. But if I sit and I'm comfortable, then it changes the whole ball game. And it's allows me to really sit in love. And I wish Hallmark, I don't know, maybe we should call them, would rename the holiday or make some cards that says, Happy Valentine's Day, sit in God's love. I feel like that would be a mic drop. Like I just dropped my, something here, but that would be a mic drop. Happy Valentine's Day, sit in love. Mm-hmm. That's our best wish for you, wives, that you would be able to really experience that God says, hey, you're enough. No gift that you give today is going to fulfill Him in a way in which Jesus can. Yeah. No gift or card or box of chocolate that you receive is going to fill that hole in your heart apart from Christ.
I think that's where a lot of our, like if we're honest, a lot of our unsettledness comes from is like, well, I look at this past year, we had an event up in Minnesota and so many of the comments we got back that night was so powerful. God completely showed up and just, whoa, it was amazing. One of the main comments, though, that we received after the fact of women sharing what that night did for what God did in them that night was they shared, I've been in church my whole life. I just didn't actually know that He actually loves me. Like God actually delights in me, like Amy's talking about. And I love this scripture Amy shares. She says, it is Zephaniah chapter 3, verse 17. And this is what it reads. The Lord your God is with you, the mighty warrior who saves. He will take great delight in you. In His love, He will no longer rebuke you, but will rejoice over you with singing. Oh, and I mean, like we're saying, just as we're even talking about this, we think of the cross. We think of that love shown through the shed blood of Jesus. And there's nothing better than that. So why do we chase a minimized version of that? Like, we have the very best love poured out over us. And it just sometimes takes conversations like these to remind us, to get us back there. And then, like you say, when we know it and believe it and like let it sink in, we slow down enough to like let him maybe even enjoy that singing that he's doing over us, and like just sit in it and receive it when we've done nothing to earn it. It really does change the way we see our husbands and what we look to when we look over to them. It's different.
It is. It's totally different. And when you talk about love too, I think of, in God's word, it says his banner over us is love. And I think of like birthdays or, times when you might have a banner, maybe a retirement party, a celebration, and there's a banner and it says, hey, this is true. This is what's going on. And I think sometimes of like holding two sticks, like God's behind me, kind of holding two sticks, like, hey, this girl is loved. Some point emojis coming down and just like running behind me, like, just to let you know you're loved. Just whatever you're doing, you're loved. I love you. And in Zephaniah, I mean, some of these can be kind of churchy words, like he no longer rebukes you. Well, he no longer says that you're, or recognizes that you're living in sin. No, God puts on new glasses, because he puts on the glasses of Jesus when you accept Jesus into your heart. God sees you through the lens of Jesus and goes, oh, that sweet wife, that lady right there, she's loved by me. And she is forgiven because of Jesus. And so she can come into right relationship with me. And I think sometimes we can have in our mind's eye this romantic date or what have you that we want for Valentine's Day or anniversary or any other day. And we think of a certain place. And really, our relationship with Jesus can start like on your couch. And those times when those ladies said they attended that conference with you and they said, I didn't really know. Well, we don't have to wait for another conference. We don't have to wait for Sunday morning and some altar call like, do you see God working in your life? That starts on your couch, and it can start today, wherever you're at, and just say, God, I know that you say that, and my mind hears you, and I know it in my head. I pray that you help me to know that in my heart.
Yeah.
And girl, you're on your way. You're on your way to the best Valentine's Day. You're on your way to the best life that God has intended for you, because we're meant for relationship with him before we're meant for relationship with our husbands. And
Yes.
getting those out of order can cause us to stutter step in so many ways.
It causes us to suffocate on our own ridiculousness.
I was thinking mucus, but with ridiculousness. 'Tis the sinus season. So however that takes you.
I think back to, this legit, all of what we're talking about caused me to leave my husband. And I, took our two kids and I left because of the Lord. I went back that day, but I did not have plans to. And this is why and so I was not saved, and I had no idea that I was looking to him to be my God. I had no idea, but I thought I was Christian, but I was, but I wasn't, whatever. Then I surrendered everything to the Lord. And when you're talking, about how Amy was saying, to repeat who we are, chosen, delightful, loved, to believe it, to actually like not wait to believe it. I think what might be helpful for you is, if you're like, yeah, I want it, but I still don't know how, just say, Lord, I receive that from you. Like, I receive that. I receive that in you. I am chosen. In you, I am delightful. In you, I am loved. Like, I receive that from you. Because for many of us, we've never been told that. We've never been shown that. Or even if we haven't even believed it from the people around us. But he, the God of the universe, calls you that, his own righteousness, because of the blood of Jesus. So you get to enjoy that. So maybe that is helpful too, just to say, God, I receive that from you. And understand you can't do anything to earn it, or you definitely don't deserve it. And that's how much he loves you. Might be helpful today too. I love how Amy closes it out. She said, and this is just what I we want to close it out with for you today. She writes this year on Valentine's Day, pause for a moment. Repeat who you are: chosen, delightful, and loved. And enjoy the love of the most incredible Valentine ever, God's gushing love for you. And may we do that. Lord, help us all do that today, or whenever we're listening, every day. Help us just know that, believe it in the core of our being, and let us just take it in and receive it and enjoy that.
Right. Best Valentine's Day ever, right there. If we can get that just brings like a settling to my spirit. Sorry to exhale so loudly, but it does. That's what I feel like. Parentheses sigh. Okay. But with that, I mean, it just sounds like a settling. And I've been in life like that, where I feel angst and unsettled and looking for things, whether that's out, driving around thinking I'm going to find it there, or the bottom of a cookie jar, one of my favorite places. But if I really experience God's love, then I have a settling, and I know that I'm his, and I know that I'm loved just by being and embracing who he's made me to be.
Mm-hmm. That's freedom too.
Yes.
Like that is freedom. I remember the day, what we're talking about, I remember going, kind of God giving me this revelation of what we're talking about. Like, Amanda, and I don't know why, but maybe because I love ice cream cakes from Dairy Queen, but he gave me like that visual of like him being the cake. Like that's God. And like I already have that. So like whatever your favorite dessert is, just picture that. Like that's God. You get that. Like, and he doesn't change. It's always good. He's always good. And like the sprinkles or the icing or the decoration on top, that's like bonus relationships. That's like your marriage, your kids, your friends, your family, whatever. It makes it pretty, but it's not the cake. Like, and so I remember going to my husband and being like, I don't need you. And he's like, what? And I was like, I want you. I love you. But like, I've got God now. Like, I'm like, it's all so different. And like, and it's just, it just does change everything. Are you laughing?
The marriage relationship looks like this. I don't need you anymore. I know. You're not the cake. He's the cake. You're the sprinkles. You are the sprinkle. And the guy being like, what?
Do we need to admit you to the mental institution?
Did it look like that? No, I can count on Dairy Queen. I know that they're there. You're not you're sprinkles.
I don't need you. I just need the cake.
See, I get that. See, what I heard was you understand God's the cake. But it might have looked like that when you were explaining it to him. And the poor guy is like, sweet me, how do I discern what she is saying?
Yeah. He I'm sure he had no clue what I was talking about. But he was like, so we're good then. Is that okay? Okay. I'm not gonna ask any questions.
The guy's gonna look for bottom line, but we're hugging? Okay, we're good.
So we're okay. Okay. So what do we need to do?
I mean, maybe your marriage is neat and tidy and y'all sit on the couch and hold hands, but we're a little bit more like this.
For real. We're a little bit more colorful, Yeah. It's great. Show a lot of colors. Ladies, listen, thank you. Thank you. If you want free resources, just head over to awifelikeme.com. We'd love you to share this with a friend. This is hard. Like, marriage is hard. You want to know my favorite thing, the favorite message I get from wives? Not the favorite, but also the favorite. It's when they reach out and say, we are struggling. My husband and I are struggling, because so often we don't admit it. So I guarantee there are women in your life, wives in your life, in your spheres that are struggling and you have no idea. So when you share certain things with them like this, it's so helpful. It might just set them free. It might just be what they need to hear to help them on their marriage journey. So don't ever hesitate to do that. You have no idea who it might help. Again, just head over to Wife Like Me. Lots of free resources over there. All the blogs, all the blog posts, all the podcast episodes, all the things. Just go over there. And links in these show notes to Kelly Brinkman, to the blog post from Amy Seifert, to Amy Seifert. So just check them out, friends. We love you. Thanks for being here.
Hey, at the end, I get to kind of quiz you or surprise you with a little question. May I?
You may.
Okay, great. I was wanting to know, in love, do you and Chad play little pranks on each other? Like, for example, I am firmly committed to Mark's heart health. And one way that I try to show that love is by scaring him. He's, somewhat easy to scare. And so sometimes 2-3 times a night, I hide, I creep up on him and scare him to cause him to go, whoa, whoa, right? And so it just like gets that heart pumping a little more, helps him remain healthy.
Or and you'll give him a heart attack.
Nope, just helps that heart keep pumping. So I wonder, like, do you and Chad play pranks on each other?
We aren't big pranksters. I do have one prank that I do every year, though. And it's not really a prank anymore because now he knows it's coming. But on Christmas, I wrap up his dirty socks in the underwear because I find it hilarious that he's opening his dirty socks. I love it. I don't know I'm so weird. I don't even care. I think it's so funny. And he plays along. He's like, oh, I wonder what this is. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's, I'm like dying. And he's like, okay, this is so, whatever. He like plays along, but whatever. So no, I don't prank him. Now I might though.
Can I give you an idea for tonight?
Oh, sure.
Oh, okay. So if your toilet has a lid, put that down, put 2 toilet paper rolls on their sides.
Oh, so I've seen like that.
Eyes. Yeah. Get you an empty toilet paper tube or paper towel tube or just, make one real quick. Stick it in the side. It looks like a tongue or, like he's smoking something. I often put a Post-it on it as well, as if the toilet is saying something. Like when Mark's coming home late from work, I'm like, hi, I went to bed without you or something on a Post-it. So it just, it speaks love, but in a way that just causes some laughter or him to think you're ridiculous, which is one of my love languages.
Yeah, right. Already very true.
Like, I'm just here to tell you. It's crazy town here, right?
Just want to remind you of who you chose. Yeah.
So I might grab some dirty socks and underwear for a special Valentine's gift. Thanks for inspiring me.
It's phenomenal. I mean, I laugh very hard. I'm just thinking about it. It's so funny. And they don't think it's funny. That's why it's funny. It's like, why would you wrap this up? Because it's funny. That's why. Anyway. Oh, friends, we love you. We love you. We love you. KellyBrinkman.com. She's linked in the show notes as well. Thank you for being our co-host this year, Kelly. This is so fun. So, ladies, we'll be back for an all-new episode next week. Also, again, head over to YouTube if you prefer watching us ridiculous ladies over there. So, we love you. Have a great week, and we'll be back next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.